What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about ICOs. So ICOs are initial coin offerings. They're used by companies in order to fundraise capital. So previously on the stock market, there's IPOs, which is initial public offering. What they do is open up a amount of stock for people to buy into the company. This way, they can, for example, Snapchat opened up their stock IPO. This way, they were a public company. You can own part of Snapchat by buying some stock into it. So likewise, ICOs are initial coin offerings. So any company can digitally issue tokens, which is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Um, actually, Bitcoin didn't have an ICO itself, but many coins right now have ICOs in order to get fundraising first off. There is no regulation in ICOs as much as IPOs. There's no government intervention, so people are making 3,000, 5,000, up to 50,000% gains on coins that they strike lucky with. But keep in mind that ICOs are extremely risky investments. You should not be putting a lot of money into a ICO. Nonetheless, tokenmarket.net/ICO calendar is a great place where you can see where a lot of ICOs are happening right now. For example, you may have heard of Ripple. For example, Ripple could have had an ICO, a couple of cents each, actually a little bit less than a cent per Ripple coin. So people saw the vision of Ripples, they saw the white paper, they read what it's about, they read about the team, and you make your call at that point before it hits the markets. So these companies basically say, okay, we'll give you 1,000 X coin, but you have to give us certain amount of Bitcoin so that we can issue that amount of coins. So you're technically exchanging your Bitcoin for coins, not on a one-to-one basis, but rather at a certain price that they peg it at. So example, 0.02 Bitcoin per one coin that they're going to issue to you. And in the future, when that coin hits a market, who knows, maybe it can go to 100% the price of the ICO itself. More likely than not, if it does go higher than the ICO, it goes pretty high. So we're talking about triple, quadruple number percentage gains. So nonetheless, look at token market where you can see a lot of the ICOs happening right now. Like I said, very, very risky. You can see so many ICOs happening right now. They all look really nice, even just by first glance. But for example, we look at AMLT, for example, right now. You can see their websites. Every website is actually really, really well made. So it's kind of every ICO looks promising. That's to say the least. Like for example, Authentic ID. I never really saw this, but I'm doing it right now in front of you, and I mean, honestly, it looks pretty legit. They're showing a lot of promising things. They have smart contracts. They have this total supply there. A lot of these coins have all of that here with timelines and such things like that. But nonetheless, if we, for example, look at AMLT and okay, we look at it, we see the partners, we see the white paper, we understand the project, and you know what, we're gonna bet our money on this project. So you can see the token sale will be ending in a certain amount of time. There are certain tiers that go on with ICOs. So tier one would be, for example, a certain period of time where you get in on the ICO. So they'll basically say, look, and this is different for every ICO. These companies can be like, okay, look, if we raise a certain amount of Ethereum or Bitcoin in the first 24 hours, and you are part of that contribution, then you are in the first tier. So you're actually going to get a 25% bonus on the amount of coins you're getting. This is just an example. So a lot of companies do that. Then tier two could be 15%, tier three could be 0% bonus. So at the end of the day, if you invested early onto it, you're going to get 25% more than the person who is investing at the end. A lot of times, however, when you're seeing insane bonuses worth 40, 50%, that is really, really bad for the economy of the ICO, because when it does hit that exchange, people are going to get it. People that are in the tier one are going to dump it. It's going to be an extremely unstable market, and that's something that I don't necessarily go for an ICO. So when I do see that, I see that as a red flag. But that does not mean that an ICO won't perform well if it has that. So we go here, we click buy AMLT. We just read their, who's going to read that? Nobody's going to read that, but we agree with it anyways. You give your token address. So a lot of times I use either Mist, I'm token, or my Ether wallet. You can't use exchanges. These are not wallets. These are wallets where you have them on your computer or hard drive. And then, you say that they're going to give you your Ethereum address. And a lot of people don't know that an Ethereum address, uh, if the wallet is ERC20 token capable, which they'll tell you right here. If it's not here in the checkout page of an ICO, you can go into their FAQ and you can see that there. But you put in your Ethereum address here, they can send those AMLT tokens to your Ethereum wallet. So it's not only for Ethereum, your wallet, you're actually going to see this certain amount of other coin in it as well, because ERC20 token compatible wallets are very dynamic. Other than that, you go forth and the payment term is basically sending Ethereum to a certain company address. They are going to give it. So once they receive that Ethereum and they're going to, match it with the same address you gave in the beginning, they'll say, okay, you know what, you already paid 10 Ethereum tokens, and so we have that in the system. We're going to issue this many AMLT tokens. And you can see the exchange rate here. So if you can get one AMLT with 0.00033 Ethereum. So you're kind of seeing some pricing there. And for example, Civic Coin opened up at a really fantastic price in the beginning of the year. This right over here was basically the time where the ICO has happened. However, or rather the ICO had happened, but there was no medium of exchange, so there was no place that was having enough volume so that people can trade it. But we saw Bittrex adding Civic token, so we saw that here. And we saw an extreme rise in price, where people that bought into the ICO at about, what is that, quadruple 0.6400. You can see that going all the way up here, and right about here we're in 100% gain over here, and we're going a little bit higher. In fact, this is not even a quadruple 0.6 is not actually the price of the ICO. I remember buying this at a much lower price point than that, and so these graphs aren't extremely accurate. However, you can see how insane the as soon as an ICO coin gets added to a market, it jumps like vertical, because there's so many people trying to buy it once because it's a new coin on the market, and maybe they missed out on the ICO, or people that have those coins are holding so dearly for life because now that it is on an exchange, they're not going to sell it off because look, it's on an exchange, there's going to be more buyers in, so it's going to increase the price, so I'm going to hold on to it. And then we saw some sell off, of course. When there's something super vertical, it must come down. There was not a lot of Civic news. The company did not really say anything that was really fundamental to the team. And to this day, we saw that it kind of broke that support line really terribly, and it's keep going down and down. But we did sell some spikes here because the CEO is saying some good things on Twitter. But nonetheless, ICOs are great. You can get 5,000, 10,000% gains. Trade at your own risk, and subscribe for more content.